Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. I want to start by saying thank you so much for clicking on this video. I truly do appreciate you. And thank you to everyone who likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. I truly do appreciate it. So really quick, I wanted to come on and talk about, first of all, this autumn equinox, as well as the fear mongering around the word rapture. So first and foremost, yes, there will be. There has been, but not as you know it. The thing is, the truth has to be told to us, and it's kind of like working your way backwards. So when they say that things are hidden in plain sight, like in movies and TV shows and everything like that, that is the absolute truth. Because the thing is, we can't be told directly what the answer to the questions that burn deep within our souls are. We can go on a journey and then experience things and find those answers for ourselves. But we are fortunate enough to get clues along the way. That's why it's called hidden in plain sight. It's right there in your face. But if you're not aligned, you will not understand. So the rapture is not what we've been told or what we've known it to be all this time, or what people think it is. There should be no fear surrounding that word. Also, when it comes to this autumn equinox, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this at the end, because I'm going to tell you what I was called to do. And I've been off of social media for a while, which is why I wasn't even making videos. But I'm going to explain what this meant for me and what I believe it means for others, and why I've compiled these particular videos, because it's explaining a little bit more. Just like in the movies, when there's a rapture, there are some people that get taken up, aka elevate, transcend, or make it to a higher level, which is also your higher self. And then there's some people that are left behind. That's simply meant to be the things and the people who kept you in a low vibrational state. That has to get left behind in order for you to elevate and transcend and continue to climb that vibrational ladder to become your higher self. And honestly, if you've been doing the work, you've already experienced the ascension symptoms. It's not just today, yesterday, or tomorrow. This has been a buildup that's been happening. And there are raptures that happen multiple times throughout the year, or what we've known to be a year. What it's been scaled down to, since time is not actually real. And there's lots of things that you experience throughout the year. And if you're energetically aligned, there are certain things that happen, certain portals that open, and certain doors that are created where you spiritually get to walk through them. And the equinox is one of those times. And if you're spiritually aligned, you're not afraid. You don't have any fear. You're not concerned about a rapture. You recognize it as a fear-mongering tactic, and you're able to see things for what they really are. All the things that have happened to you have happened for a reason, and that they are really just tests to pass to get to the next level, to get you here. So some people are ready to walk through that door. Some people are ready to be quote unquote raptured. And there are some people that you had to leave behind so that they can experience their own journey. They're going to miss this one. They may make it on the next one. They may make it on the one after that. That is up to them, and that's their journey to take. If you are aligned, then you likely did go through some type of spiritual death before getting to this point. And by spiritual death, I mean you recognize the parts of you, or the version of you, that had to be left behind in order for you to transcend into this next level. Like, you can you can do your rituals, you can journal, you can manifest, you can do all the things, but if you're not aligned, you will not be prepared for anything. So with everyone talking about this rapture, I just want to put this out here and hope that people see it and understand, understand, and overstand. It is not what you think it is. And I hope that this helps spark something in someone who knows that what they're doing and where they are in life is not where they need to be. And this can be the start of your journey, so that when the next one happens, you will be able to transcend because you will be aligned. For the rest of us who already know and who are aligned and have already walked through or are going to walk through, I made this video as well because it's just like a confirmation as well as more information for those who don't really understand what's going on here. Stop with the fear mongering, stop fear scrolling. It's not what you think it is. It's not what you've been told. And hopefully this helps you to go into the right direction. And I've talked enough. I'll get into some videos. There's not very many videos for this one. It's just mostly me and my understanding of everything and me trying to hopefully get some people to understand what's going on, because you have to first understand before you can understand anyway. So this will reach whoever needs it. I know that much. So without further ado, let's get into the videos, and then I'll be back to discuss what I said I would talk about at the end.
September 22nd is the autumn equinox, the moment when the day and night are perfectly balanced. This happens twice a year, once in March and once in September, when the sun sits directly over the Earth's equator. Today, we enter autumn in the Northern Hemisphere, and this shift carries some deep spiritual meaning. The equinox is about balance, harvest, and reflection. Just as Earth finds harmony between the light and the dark, you're invited today to restore balance in your own life. Where are you giving too much? Where are you ready to receive more? And also, it's also the season of harvest and gratitude, which is an important thing to remember. Everything that you've worked towards this year, the wins, the lessons, even the challenges, make up the fruits of your inner harvest. So take some time today to say thank you for all that has unfolded. And finally, it's also about letting go. The trees don't cling to their leaves, and neither should you. Release the habits, the stories, the versions of you that no longer serve you, and trust that the darker months ahead, your inner light is going to be able to grow stronger. Today, take some time to journal, to meditate, to light a candle, or to simply step outside and notice nature's rhythm. The equinox is the reminder that balance is possible, gratitude is powerful, and release is necessary for rebirth.
The outdated version of yourself will try to run from you finding the new best version of yourself. And you probably say, why would it do that? Because no one wants to find what will destroy him. And see, he, her, is an old version of you that wants to stick around. And so it's going to run from every effort you make to progress yourself, to find the new version of yourself. But the message here is to destroy that mother. He doesn't want you to, but you must.
This morning, are you prepared for Jehovah's return? Because if you're not, I have a plan.
How many of y'all out there feel like Craig right now? If I see one more thing on my timeline talking about the rapture about to happen tomorrow, I thought y'all didn't know the day nor the hour. Not only that, what's going to happen after tomorrow when it doesn't happen? The funny thing is, most of this rapture talk is not even what people think. When I first started deconstructing, I had to look up, what is the rapture? Like, what is that? Because I used to always hear the pastor talking about it. I used to hear grandma talking about get right with God before God return. It was always very confusing to me as a child because I'm like, damn, I thought Jesus died. And you talking about he gonna return? That was too much for my kid-like brain at the time. But as I started deconstructing, I realized rapture is not even in the Bible. I mean, Paul wrote about something like this in 1 Thessalonians where he talked about people being caught up. Now, the Greek name was harpazo, but then it changed to the Latin term, which was rapturo. Then fast forward to the 1800s, that's when John Nelson Darby put his own little spin on things. He put together timelines of tribulation as well as the snatchings of believers. Of course, y'all know Hollywood gonna take it and run with it because they made movies like, I think it was Left Behind. But we can come to the conclusion these were not the words of God, right? What got everybody in a frenzy? I'll tell you what. Every time the world feels chaotic with talks of war, with politics, with more division, economy, change in climate, fear gets louder. Not to mention the messy ass algorithms that thrive off of drama. So we seeing a heavy dose of spiritual psychosis right now. People getting hooked on these timelines instead of tuning into the truth, tuning into self. You truly was in tune with yourself and with spirit, aka God, aka your higher self, the universe, whatever you want to call it. Could never nor would you ever be shaken by external predictions like this. You would know that peace doesn't live on someone else's date. Peace doesn't live outside of you. It's actually internal. Again, I feel like Craig, slamming the door on all that fear propaganda that people trying to push right now. Once this date passes, just like all the others, the real question is not are you prepared or were you prepared for the rapture that never was coming. All this darn fear-mongering and doomsday talk, it's getting so old every single year. Grandparents been waiting on this day too. I'm sure the parents before them and so on and so forth, but y'all catch my drift. I'll probably do a video to go a little bit more in depth, but the rapture is not what people need to be concerned about nor paying attention to. Just know between now and November, they're going to try to divert attention towards something else. Without saying too much, I truly believe that financial crash is coming. The one thing that I can get with that the old folks used to say back in the day is get right with God. Because you better get right with yourself. You're going to be the only one judging you at the end of the day. Shout out to all my people who not paying this no kind of mind. For anybody that is, I hope that you find peace real soon. Peace, love, and light, and gratitude for watching.
So another creator just got up here and explained the rapture in a way that makes complete perfect sense to me. I'm gonna tag them in the caption. What they were saying was that this rapture is not something that's going to be happening physically. This is a spiritual thing that's happening. People are being raptured, like their consciousness is being raptured to heaven because they're finally having a spiritual awakening that's making them rise in frequency and rise in vibration. And the people that are left behind are the people that are going to stay on the timeline where they're miserable because they're actively choosing to not elevate their consciousness. They're choosing to stay in a state of fear. They're choosing to stay in a state of lack. And that makes so much sense to me. I think not only has the rapture already happened, but it happens multiple times. All you need to do is rise in consciousness, reach your Christ consciousness, and then you will be raptured to heaven, which it says, you know, the heaven is a place on earth. And the people that are not rising in consciousness, those are the people that are constantly left behind.
Okay, so today's equinox solar eclipse is not just another astrology event. This is a cosmic reset, a doorway moment. Let's talk about what that means for you and the collective. Okay, so the equinox itself is about balance. Day and night are equal. Spirit is basically saying, look at your life. Where are you out of alignment? Like, where have you been giving too much energy away at? Or have you been ignoring what really matters? Then when you layer that with the solar eclipse, it's like the universe is pulling back the curtain. It reveals the shadows, exposes the patterns that we've been pretending not to see. And it forces us to confront what cannot come with us on the next chapter. So don't be surprised if old emotions or karmic cycles or sudden endings just pop up. That right there is the eclipse energy. It moves quick, it shakes things up, and it makes sure you see the truth. And collectively, this is a wake-up call. Systems, relationships, or identities that have been running on autopilot, they're going to start feeling unstable. Some of y'all gonna feel like somebody is literally pulling the rug right under your feet. But that's not chaos, that's divine order. The universe is telling you, stop clinging to what's dead and start moving into the frequency of who you really are. So how do you move through this? First, pause. Don't rush to react. Just observe. Then journal what's surfacing, like your dreams, your emotions, or your triggers. Then you can do a release ritual. Burn it, cry it out, write it down, and let it go. Then I want you to set a new intention. Because what you see now during this eclipse will unfold in the next 6 months. Remember, this is a sacred reset. Use it and walk through that doorway. See you at the top.
All right, before I go any further, if you're looking for content that is in alignment, I recommend the content creators of these videos. Please let me know if you can't see the names of these content creators on their videos because it's always at the bottom or at the top. It has that little floating icon. I will gladly give you the names because a lot of these videos, they became part of my algorithm, and I do like to look at videos through social media because I don't have anyone in close proximity that are on the same type of journey that I'm on, or even the level that I'm on, or that understand at all any of the things that I ever speak about. So being able to go online and see people and experience the things that they're going through that resonate with what I'm going through has truly been a blessing for me. So I hope that it would be the same for you guys. So again, if you can't see their names, let me know. I would gladly give a name for any of the creators that are in my video. But to get back on track, I wanted to end the compilation videos with that particular video because what I wanted to talk about that I mentioned earlier is that so before I made it to the next level, which I just transcended from, I was doing heavy meditation, and during one of my meditations, I feel things come to me in the form of a feeling, but then gets, transmuted into words, if you will, if that makes sense. And the feeling that I got was death and resurrection. I would hear that over and over during one of my meditations, and I went into researching what that is in the spiritual world, and I ended up doing the breath of death and resurrection. And that was life-changing for me. It helped me get to this point, and I had made it a goal to journal every day, but then I had the feeling that journaling every day was just not where I was at anymore. That's just not what I needed to do anymore. But last night I was called to journal, but it was a different type of journal. So it was basically me having the feeling, thought, one and the same, that it was time for me to lay the version of me that got me to this point. So the version of me that I had become that was extremely low vibrational, I had to thank that version of me because I had been trying to erase that version of me, pretend that version of me didn't exist. And that was wrong, honestly. I cannot make it to the next level without first acknowledging that version of me that carried me through the traumatic experiences that I've had all the way up until that point. And I just thank that version of me. I did what I felt I was called to do in that moment. And I laid that version of me to rest because I can't take that version of me where I'm about to go. That's what I was called to do last night. That's what I did. And then I went into what felt like such a peaceful, relaxing sleep that felt way different from any other way I've fallen asleep recently. Like normally I lay down, I fall asleep, and I know I'm going to sleep. This felt different, and I can't really explain it, but I still feel it. And I truly feel that I let that version of myself go by laying it to rest. Like there's no erasing that version of myself because I have to acknowledge that that's the version of myself that carried me through all that trauma, and that version of myself that decided for this version of myself that they were going to do the work to bring this version of myself into 3D so that I can transcend to the next level. I hope that makes sense. I feel like it makes sense to those who resonate with it. And I just wanted to make this video because I feel like there's a lot of confusion for some people, not those of us that know, but for some people that don't know, that are curious and that are wondering, what does this all mean? Why is everybody talking about it? Where did it come from? If I'm being honest, I didn't even know it was that people were saying this or that it was a thing, but I got a feeling and I went and I was led to it and I felt like I needed to speak about it. So I hope that this video helped someone and that it resonated with others, and let me know what you guys think. I do love hearing from you. With that being said, that is really all I have for this video, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next one. Bye bye for now.